this, later in the week.
Can you talk about his value to you guys in your defense and what he provides?
Yeah, Coyne is obviously a very, very talented guy. He's played a lot of football for us, and he's, makes plays for us in the run and pass game. And unfortunately, got injured. And I thought some guys that came in for him, Marquez Bimage did some good stuff, and Braxton, was physical. But losing a guy like Coyne is, not ideal, but that's, part of the game, and we'll, hopefully get him back as soon as possible.
Thanks.
Here we'll go to Trace Travers. Trace, go ahead.
Yeah. You guys played Feme a lot over on Saturday, and I guess we're going to talk to him here in a little bit. What stood out about what he was able to do?
Well, Femi since he's been here, is a very, very coachable guy, very eager, and he's got physical tools. He's, big, he can run. He's a very good tackler. He's got great tackling radius with his length and his speed. So I think he's got a really bright future. It's brand new. He's been here a short time, and that was his first college game. He got thrown into a pretty tough situation and pretty tough environment, but I thought he did a heck of a job. And you're going to see Femi is a extremely eager young man. I mean, he, whether we're talking about walkthroughs or workouts or practice, I mean, that guy is all about it. And so if he can keep that attitude and that kind of thirst for, and that drive to get better, I mean, he's got a bright, bright future.
Yeah. And on a somewhat related note on the tackling, you guys, I think, missed somewhere in the range of 17 tackles against TCU. Was there a common denominator? Was it just form, angles?
Yeah, I mean, all the above. I mean, especially later in the game, we as the game wore on, we missed more and more tackles. All those things are going to play into it. Angles, technique, there's an ability matchup portion of that sometimes, and we got to do a better job getting our body on people and finish them all the way to the ground. And when you're going against a talented guy, which we're going to see talented players each and every week, it takes effort, technique, angles, takes all that to get the guy on the ground. And we got to do a better job of that, because there were some routine plays. I mean, into the half, they ran inside zone and we misplayed it on the edge, and then we missed a number of tackles. I mean, can't have inside zone go for 50 and a touchdown. I mean, that's just unacceptable. And same on a curl route. I think later in the game, just things that should not be going for touchdowns. So we got a lot of work to do there.
And if I can ask one more, Lou Hearns has moved into your cornerback rotation. What has he done to get there, and what is it going to take for some of the other younger guys like Caleb Higgins or Jalen Martin to get into the rotation?
Lou has shown the ability to stay attached to people in coverage. He's a smart guy, and he understands. For a young guy, he's got a really good feel for what we're doing. Still very inexperienced. He's got quick feet, and he's got pretty good instincts playing the position. And ultimately, you want the DBs to be close to the receivers, and when the ball arrives, and that way they can make a play on it. He's not the biggest guy, but he is competitive. And so even though he might lack some size on some of those guys, he's very competitive and can stay attached to them and compete for the ball. I think he does have competitiveness, and you have to have that at that position to be successful.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Jeff Frada.
Justin, Trayvon Clark had his best game for you guys the other day. 2 big catches. It's been quite a road for him. I understand when he was in junior college, he commuted like 2 hours every day to get to school and then back in the evenings. What does that say to him? And do you still see that sort of dedication in him as he moves forward?
Trayvon has come a long, long way, and he's worked hard to get to this point. We're all excited for him because, as you mentioned, it's never been easy. And whether it's junior college, coming to Cal, and he's this past off season was really impressive the way he approached it. He's a motivated guy, and he's practicing really well. I think I told somebody last hour, last week during practice, Trayvon Clark and Chase hooked up on maybe 4 or 5 deep balls during the week, contested deep balls, completed all of them, and so you could almost see it coming. The way that those two worked together last week, and Trayvon just has worked really hard to put himself in this position, and I'm happy for him because he's earned this.
And he's got the extra responsibility of being a dad. I know he's got, I believe, a 3-year-old son now.
Mhm.
How has that changed him and focused him and, maybe matured him?
Yeah, I think it'd be a great question for Trey. I don't want to speak for him, but he is, he lives with different responsibilities than a lot of the other guys. He's got a family to take care of. As I mentioned before, he's worked really hard to get to this point. He takes it very seriously. He cares about the team. He's a good guy. He's a good person, and I'm happy for him because he comes up here. He does his school. He works out. He goes to meetings. He takes every rep in practice. He practices hard, and then he goes home and takes care of his family. So pretty admirable what he's doing. And he would tell you the same. It's just consistency, and doing it week in and week out. And that's what he's aiming to do, I think.
And if I could ask you a question about this weekend's game, you're playing an FCS school, and we've seen already this season what they can do when they get the opportunity against an FBS. And Washington found out Florida State. Do you worry at all about your guys being ready for this game, or do you think where you're at right now in your season, you don't really have any choice?
I don't worry about us looking past any opponent ever. I mean, it's not the way our guys talk. I mean, I understand the question, and we know what Sac State's capable of. I mean, we know what kind of coaches they have. Our players watch their players. We've got a great deal of respect for all of them, and the parity in college football is evident. I mean, we see it each and every week, and so we don't for one second sit over here like we've done something this week, because we haven't. I mean, this week's a brand new week. We need to take another step forward and play our best game this week. That's what we need to do. And I just, in my time here, I've never felt like our team has ever approached a game with the mindset of we just are going to show up and play. I have never had that concern. What we are concerned ourselves with is playing better. That's what we spend our time on and working towards every day, is how do we play better?
And you had the experience of going back and taking a team back to Oregon, your alma mater, and the emotions that you experience when you do that. And now Troy Taylor will be coming back to Cal for the first time as a head coach. Can you imagine what that's going to be like for him, and what kind of reception he might get from fans in your stadium?
Well, I'd hope they'd give him a rousing reception. I know Troy well, and got a ton of respect for him, and he had an unbelievable career here. He's a fantastic coach, known that for a long time, even back when he was up at Folsom. And so, yeah, I can't speak for Troy. He's a competitive person like we all are. He's going to do everything to help his team win the game. So that's what we would expect. And but in terms of how he would feel, it'd be hard for me to say.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, go back to Trace Travers.
And on that note, what have you guys seen out of Sacramento State? I know they didn't play a season in 2020 or in the spring, but I guess they've played 2 games so far, so you have a bit of a better idea of what they're doing.
Yeah, obviously won the conference in 2019. A lot of returning players, didn't play last year. Played a real good team last week and had them up on them at half. They're multiple on offense. You can see, what they're doing schematically. They do a really good job offensively of trying to give you different looks and mess with your eyes and create issues for the defense. They got 2 good backs. The quarterback can throw it. He can run it. They got a talented tight end and talented receiver who are all conference performers a couple years ago. Defensively, it's going to be multiple. No, Andy Thompson really well as the defensive coordinator. He does a really, really good job. And you're going to see, different fronts, different coverages, different pressures. They're not going to line up and just let you, see the same picture over and over. So they're going to be well coached. We know that. They're going to play really hard. And we know our goal is to play our best game this week. And so what we need to do is practice really well.
Thank you.
Sorry, Jeff has one more question. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, your offense obviously had a much better game than it did the week before. But when we talked to you afterward, you said there's still things that can be better.
Yeah.
When you watch the tape, what did you like and what do you think you need to still improve on offensively?
Yeah, with things that were improved, the vertical passing game was noticeably better. I think you probably noticed that as well. Pass protection, one of our better pass protection games. We had some efficient runs after we kind of loosened them up a little bit, it felt like. The things where we have to improve upon are, a couple of them are situational. The 4th and 1, which is situational, but also just an execution. The 4th and 1 early in the game. I mean, there's a chance to go get points, and pretty simple, kind of one of our staple plays. And we didn't quite get off on the second level like we should have. And the guy ran through and tackled us, and it was a stop. So the 4th and 1, the end of half, we have to play better on both sides of the ball, offensively, keeping the ball, giving ourselves a score at the end of the half, and defensively getting a stop at the end of the half. And in the second half, I thought offensively, we need couple more conversions, and give ourselves to, obviously we want to go score more points. And if not, we can move the ball down the field, try and make some things happen. And if at worst, have to punt it, run some plays. We need more opportunities. I think we only had the ball for 9 minutes in the second half, something like that. And so we need some more opportunities for the offense in the second half, and we can do that by converting.
Given all that, it appeared to me that you had a much more confident looking quarterback out there than week one. Did you see a difference in his demeanor and his composure out there?
I thought he looked very much in control, knew where to go with the ball, made some good throws through 3 big throws down the field to some different players. Had a really good accurate throw on the first 3rd down of the game to Nico. He had some big scrambles. He had a really good, I know it's not great for the stat sheet, but he had a really good throwaway on one, avoiding a rush and getting rid of the ball to not take a negative play. He still probably had a few throws that he would like to have back over the middle, but I think Chase definitely took a step forward from week 1 to week 2.
Okay, anybody with the final question?